Hello and welcome to our election special at Boom. We're calling our series US Elections Simplified, and boy, how much simplification we've had to do in the last few days. We've been focusing on the basic questions, and the focus really is on explainers and not speculation or looking at breaking news. But it's now Saturday afternoon in India and Saturday early morning in the United States, and the elections and counting began on Tuesday and should have ended on Tuesday itself. So it's been 3 or 4 days, depending on how you count it. And to take us through why that is so and what we can expect next, let's talk to my colleague Mohammed Kudrati, who's a fact checker with Boom. Mohammed, we know that Joseph Biden of the Democrats is all but the winner, but why is the counting of votes taking so long?
Venkatesh, let me start by giving you an interesting statistic. So Joe Biden is on course to receive 75 million votes. And this is the most amount of votes an individual will receive in a US presidential election in American history. And this is indicative of just how high the turnout for this US election has been. Now, couple this with how the turnout has been, how people have voted. They've voted increasingly using mail-in ballots. Now, these mail-in ballots are much more difficult to count than what would come in on election day. So to count these mail-in ballots, you have these volunteers that really need to manually verify security features. They need to go through a lot of protocol, and they need to upload this using counting machines or whatever equipment or protocol they have. And this is where the entire game is. And these mail-in ballots is what is causing this extreme delay. So you have mail-in ballots coupled with a huge turnout, and that is causing so much delay.
Yes, and it's fair to say that coronavirus obviously created this situation, and more than 92 million, is it, or close to 100 million people voted before voting day through mail-in ballots and in-person voting, and that's led to this delay. But, well, we understand why the counting itself is taking long, but we've seen in previous elections that once there is an understanding that a certain candidate is going to win, the networks call it without even the final vote, because the final vote can take several days or several weeks. So why aren't the networks, the TV networks, calling it?
For the TV networks to call it, what they require is a level of confidence that a candidate is the certain winner beyond any doubt. And the best metric to estimate this is when the margin or the spread between two candidates is much larger than the votes outstanding. So you have so a candidate is winning by, let's say, 70 votes, and there are only 30 votes left to count. So even if these 30 votes goes to the opposition camp, the candidate winning is not really affected. But this time the margins are so small, the election is so tight, and there are much more votes that are outstanding that remain to be counted than what the margins are. For example, let's take Georgia, where you have Biden leading by anything between 5,000 to 7,000 votes, depending on which media organization you're looking at. Data from the state of Georgia shows that there are more than 22.
Indeed, it looks like we've lost the connection with Mohammed, but he was essentially talking about the battleground states and Georgia. And the question really was, why aren't networks calling it? It's worth pointing out at this point in time that in the United States, unlike in India, there is no election commission. So the actual pointing out or the calling out of the election is done by the networks. That is the TV networks, the CNNs and the Foxes and the MSNBCs, and really the three broadcasters, that is NBC and ABC and CBS. Mohammed is back, I think. Mohammed, you disappeared for a bit, but definitely, like the ballots that are not really disappearing, you've come back. Let me ask you one final question, which is, can you take us through how each new candidate, Joseph Biden, and Donald Trump, how they've been reacting? There've been widely different reactions from the two camps, haven't there?
Yes, Venkatesh, both of them have been quite steadfast in their claim to the presidency. But their approaches to both of these to these claims have been starkly dissimilar in tone. while Joe Biden has gone out there at least 3 times and he has really told his supporters and his voters that to be optimistic, to be cautious, and to see the entire process through. Donald Trump has alleged that there is mail-in fraud going on. Now, experts have widely believed that this is not the case. There is no evidence to show this. But what we do anticipate is that the stage is set for some sort of legal battle or legal tussle or a disagreement to the extent that Donald Trump will not even leave the White House. A starkly worded statement by the Joe Biden camp has said that the US government is more than capable of escorting trespassers out of the White House. And that is a really snide comment at the Trump campaign, because Trump is refusing to concede, or has shown no indication to concede so far. In a nutshell, both are claiming victory and their tones differ.
And hopefully we'll know the final count or tally, or one of the networks or all the networks will call it very, very soon. And we're saying very, very soon because we don't know whether it's going to be tonight India time or Sunday India time or US time. We just don't know. We'll wait and watch. Thanks so much for speaking with us, Mohammed.
Thank you, Venkatesh.